Aloha, my name is Mark Titus. This is Tate Frazier. Together, we are Titus and Tate. We are taking Maui. It is ours. We are taking it home with us, Tate. That is what we are doing here. We are here to wrap up the first day of action at the greatest early season tournament in college basketball, the Maui Invitational.
We've already learned. We learned on the first day we were calling it the best preseason tournament, or as we learned last night, Jay Bill said pre-conference tournament. So now this is the best pre-conference tournament in all the nation, and we were here in the building today for the first round of action, so it was great.
We were here in the Lahaina Civic Center, right behind us.
Yes.
This is the court that it all took place on today. Let's start just with general thoughts. This is both of our first times here at the Maui Invitational, Tate. What was your general vibe? Just speak about the vibe, the atmosphere, just everything you're seeing here.
I was a little weirded out by the surfboards on the court. I never saw that on television before, so I thought that was a little strange. But otherwise, the arena is exactly what we always thought, which is small, hot, and loud.
And the rims are soft.
Soft.
Oh my God, are they soft?
Yes.
I want to start by giving a shout out to the Dayton fans. We're going to go through each game, kind of give our thoughts on what happened in all these games. The first game of the day was Dayton, Georgia. So my very first taste of the Maui Invitational was the Dayton Flyer fans, as you call them, the frequent flyers.
The frequent flyers, yes.
Flying all the way from Dayton, Ohio, all the way out here to Maui. They packed their section. They got their hands on every ticket they could find. And my God, were these people loud. It was a 9:30 a.m. tip here in Lahaina, and they were
And no one told
minds.
Georgia that they were playing at 9:30 this morning. Tom Green and the rest of the Bulldogs, unfortunately,
no one,
they weren't there in the first
No one
half.
told the Dayton fans that it's like beautiful. There's like a beach. There's mountains. There's tons of stuff to do in Maui. This is paradise. They were like, we don't care. We're here to win a tournament. That's the only reason we're here. We are going to yell for our Flyer basketball team. And if we have time to go to the beach after that, that's cool too. But they made a ton of noise. That was my big takeaway from this. Was like, the atmosphere was insane to open the thing.
And every single game you thought that basically going into it, like, oh, you're like Michigan State. They have the most people here. These fans are the loudest. Then you would see the Kansas fans come in. You say the same thing. But we have to say, after the first day of action, right, the Dayton fans are number one.
Dayton is number one. Congratulations to Dayton fans.
You made it.
Yeah. You were the number one fan base of day one.
Whatever that may mean. Who
yeah,
knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Is there a trophy
It's all
for that?
subjective. I don't know. Do a poll.
For God's sakes, this is the tournament that gave the 1987 MVP to the entire Iowa basketball team. So, like, if we set that precedent, I don't understand why we can't give like a trophy to the Dayton fan base as well. I don't know. Tate, let's break down the games that happened today. enough with all the extracurriculars. As we said, the first game of the day was Georgia-Dayton. Coming into this event, we thought that this would be the most competitive first-round game. We have Anthony Edwards, a potential number one pick in the NBA draft.
5-star.
Yep, 5-star guy for Georgia. The next in line for the Victor Oladipo, Dwayne Wade, Tom Crean guy. Did not play well today. He did not have a great game for Georgia. No one on Georgia played well. This was not a great game for Georgia. And part of the reason this was not a great game for Georgia is because, as it turns out, Dayton is very, very good. The team that I picked to get the Maui bump was the Dayton Flyers. I said at the end of this tournament, everyone will be like, wow, I didn't know Dayton was that good. My pick's looking pretty good so far.
And it is pretty good because the Dayton Flyers are actually living up to the expectations, which is what we like to see, especially for Anthony Grant, a guy that we learned coaching in his alma mater, very happy about it, so things are going well for him. And if you look at Tom Crean in Georgia, we remember last year Tom Crean said, this is my first year, and these are not my guys.
Yeah,
let's get them out. He loved Nick Claxton. Claxton leaves. Now he's on the Nest. Congratulations, Nick. And now he's got this new squad, like you said, Anthony Edwards, and he has decided that there are no positions. And what we saw in this game is that Anthony Edwards is willing to play the 5, which I think, talking about identity, Georgia just seems like they're trying to find themselves. And then you look at Dayton, they've already found themselves.
If you didn't even look at a program and you didn't know how old Georgia's players were, and you just watched them play, you'd say that's a young team. You can just tell by the way they played. That is a very young team. And I'm honestly not even sure what class all these guys are in. But I have no doubt in my mind that it's a very, very young team because they play like it. And that showed today. And Dayton's an upper-class team. Obi Toppin, I think the secret's out on this guy. He is every bit a National Player of the Year kid. That is not hyperbole. That is not like overreacting to one game. He's putting up monster numbers to start the season. He looks absolutely unstoppable. He's the best player at this event.
6 for 6 in the first half, 100% from the field, right? I mean,
this is an event with Cassius Winston, mind you. We have Cassius Winston, who is the preseason player of the year in college basketball. We have Anthony Edwards, who, as we said, people think might be the number one pick in the NBA draft. And Obi Toppin is the best player here.
And he pretty much did it the entire game. They're running everything out of the post, and they said that was the way they're going to run offense. Toppin had a lot of moments in the first half where it was just like, oh, this is just easy pick and pop kind of stuff.
Was he like 6 for 6 at halftime or something? 16 points, something like that?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, great game for Dayton. They are moving on to play the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Wow.
Which is not.
We did not think we would say that as we walked into
we did not believe that Virginia Tech would beat Michigan State. Nobody did, except maybe I don't know.
some diehard Hokie fans probably, that were in the building, like 20 of them that were louder than most. So congratulations to the Hokies that decided to come here. But when you look at the landscape, we saw Mike Young at the coaches dinner last night. We're just like, Mike Young has been at Wofford for 30 years. This is the big leagues. Like Wofford's, God bless Wofford, they might not be at the Maui Invitational ever, but Mike Young was here with Virginia Tech, and they came out against Tom Izzo, a guy that loves the Maui Invitational, and just basically owned them from the start of the game.
I feel like Mike Young is too chill to ever admit this publicly. Like he's just a very laid-back guy. As we said, we sat next to the coaches at the coaches event. We were at the table right next to him, and it was interesting to watch the dynamic at play there, where like Bill Self and Tom Izzo, they're the cock of the walk, and they just kind of like are owning the table, and Tom Crean's kind of like trying to get into the mix. Mike Young was just like in his own world, and I say that that's a compliment. Like Mike Young was just like, I do my thing, I go to the beat of my own drum. And I think it's cool for him. So as I said, he would never say this publicly, but it's got to be cool for him, for a guy who spent 30 years of his life, Tate, at Wofford as an assistant and then the head coach, to take a chance this late in his career to go to Virginia Tech when you got it all set up at Wofford. He could be the Wofford coach for the rest of his life if he wants to be. Takes the chance, goes to the big leagues to Virginia Tech. He's taken over a team that's picked 14th in the ACC this year. That is a true fact. They were picked 14th in the ACC. To get validation this early in the season, to beat the number 3 team in the country, that's got to feel pretty good.
And it's one of those things too where you lose Buzz Williams, he goes to Texas A&M. You lose Justin Robinson, a guy that everyone is like, he's one of the best players we've seen in quite a while at Virginia Tech.
You lose Kerry Blackshear to transfer, he goes to Florida.
So this whole team was kind of question marks. Will Bede step up? Will Landers be a guy that could actually carry the team? And the answer is yes.
As it turns out, yes. Speaking of Bede,
a guy that believes in the Hokies, a guy that came back from the transfer portal, which is always something good. Wabissa Bede going to join us and break down how the Hokies made it happen today.
All right, we are here with Virginia Tech point guard Wabissa Bede. The Virginia Tech Hokies pulled off the big upset of the tournament so far, taking down number 3 ranked Michigan State. I want to start with this. Everyone is calling this a massive upset. You guys were picked 14th in the ACC this year, coming into the season. You are now 6-0. You just beat the number 3 team in the country.
What do you have to say to your haters?
What
do you have to, look at the camera, talk to the haters, and say, we're here, Virginia Tech, we never left. Is that what you want to do, or should we just pause a little bit?
Nah,
just enjoy this win for now.
Yeah, just pause a little bit. We really didn't care about our rankings. We're not really motivated by them. Why should we care what people ranked us? We should only care about ourselves and try and get better each and every day.
Well, it seems like you guys do care about yourselves, and one of those things that you do care about is Virginia Tech, because last year we know that you entered the transfer portal, one of the things that we really love. We love the
How does that process work, by the way? What is the transfer portal?
Like, who did you tell? You're just like, hey, guys, I'm thinking about maybe leaving.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little talk with well, not with the coaching staff that left.
Yes, well, they left you first. Yeah,
so it's kind of like, so our AD was, you can technically say, is our head coach for the couple days until then. So I kind of told him I think that's the best decision for me, and just trying to look up for myself. My mom thought it would be a great decision as well. Just because it doesn't hurt you, because I can always come back, or I can explore anybody. So I just thought it would be the right decision for me. And
so what did Coach Young say to get you back? Like, how was that recruitment to get you to stay at Virginia Tech? And do you feel validated in your decision now that you guys are you got something rolling?
Our relationship was just growing each and every day. We're trying, at first we were just feeling each other out, pause. It was just trying to see, how the relationship there. And then he got, started talking to my mom a little bit.
Oh, genius. Always talk to the mom. That's the move. That's how you keep guys here.
Yeah, you can say that, but my mom, she can sniff out the BS from a lot of people. Yeah. So she thought he was a good dude. So and then eventually she started liking him more and more, and she thought it would be a good fit.
And then he told you, we're gonna jack a ton of threes. That's how we're gonna play basketball.
That sounds like something we can do. Yeah, we can do that.
You are currently 4th in the country. I don't know if you're aware of this. In assists per game, you're averaging 8 assists per game.
Cool.
Your assist numbers are soaring in this new offense you're playing with.
Cool.
What about Coach Young's offense versus the offense you were used to at Virginia Tech? Like, what about it is making it so easy for you to distribute the ball and get your teammates going and everything?
I'm just way more confident this year as this last year. We had like our main guard was the Titus Tate, and a lot was Justin Robinson.
Yep.
He probably led the country as well. Like, he was the top up there in assists. It's just like me being more confident. That's just the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah.
And one of those other guys, I don't want to bring up the transfer portal again, but Landers, a guy on your team, you guys both decided to test the waters. Then you came back to Virginia Tech together. And then today against Michigan State, this is a stat, folks. You guys drew 15 fouls against Michigan State, the two of you. You drew 8, or you drew 7, he drew 8. So was that a game plan going into this? Because of the 20 fouls that Michigan State had, 2 of these guys on Virginia Tech, the 2 guys that came back from the transfer portal, drew all those fouls. So I'm sure you guys are proud of that.
Yeah, that's just get into the line, just try to get easy points as much as you can. It's a big thing. We knew that's an interesting stat right there.
I'd never seen this before. This is fouls,
great,
fouls drawn.
That's
so.
the stats we have here in Maui. Yeah.
I think we should start looking that into more. That's like, I never heard about that one, but that's pretty cool to know about that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So if it doesn't work out in basketball, it can always work out in acting, right? You can always.
No,
is that what it is? Yeah. Okay.
We're getting murdered.
Okay, yeah, that's right. They're getting. That's right.
I want to ask you about your experience here in Maui so far. I assume growing up you watched the Maui Invitational on television.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you share the opinion that we have, which is that it's one of the greatest tournaments. It's always it'd be cool to be a part of it. So now that you're here, now that you're in it, what is that like? This atmosphere of kind of it's packed in, it's a little hot, the rims are soft.
And did that factor into your decision to stay at Virginia Tech?
Yeah, when you found out they were
Were
coming
you
to Maui,
like,
was
wait
that
a second, I'm going to Maui?
shooting a lot of threes and going to Maui, like, that's all I need.
Knowing your question, but growing up, I just remember like the one tournament I always remember is the Kemba one.
Yeah.
Man,
He's right there behind us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's hanging up
Yeah,
there,
that dude, man, he made me fall in love with that tournament, with this tournament, and this growing up each and every year. Oh, who's in the Maui? Who's in the Maui? Who's in the Maui? And then this finding out what you're gonna be playing in the Maui is just pretty cool. It's just amazing what God can do for you, and then I'm just so happy.
Go ahead.
You know, it's one of those things I was going to ask. Like, Coach Young came to the press conference today, and you know, he just kind of exudes. You said your mom was able to read the BS. Yeah. Mike Young, there's no BS there. He seems like he's a very genuine guy, and he was so genuinely happy for you guys. And he's like, give all the credit to them. I don't know how this is happening. They're just playing great basketball, and shots are going in. So, like, as a team, do you guys just exude confidence, like, after a game like this? Or is it sort of just like, all right, let's take a step back. This is a good win. Let's move forward.
Yeah, it starts with him, like just putting the confidence in us. Because when the coach can take away confidence from you, it's kind of hard to play for him. And you're all like,
Yeah, thinking about everything.
And then that was like one of my biggest things, just like overthinking a lot of stuff. But now it's like what he always tells me: hey, lay back your ears and go play and go have fun. And that's what we've been doing, just laying back and having fun and just chilling.
So you have a quick turnaround. Tomorrow you'll be playing Dayton. How do you mentally adjust from you don't have a ton of time to celebrate the big win against Michigan State. Now you have a good team in Dayton. Did you watch the Dayton-Georgia game at all? Do you know anything about that? I mean, I'm sure you guys have watched film at this point. What about the Dayton game coming up tomorrow? Are you looking at?
Yeah, so it took us about like half an hour to like get over the win, and then we like, all right, let's get to Dayton.
What did you guys do in the half hour that you guys were celebrating?
We celebrated.
He's like, that's off the record.
We celebrated for like a minute and a half on the court, and then everybody got upstairs and like, all right, we like celebrated a little bit more for like 5 minutes, and then afterwards, like, all right.
It's like AAU. You can't. You got another game tomorrow.
It's like so we already know like everybody like has Michigan State out our head now. And now it's just like Dayton, everything put in our head. So Dayton's a very good team. I think upper class team. Very good in transition offense. And then it starts with Obi Toppin.
Obi
Yeah,
Toppin.
it starts with him, and it starts with like so he's a centerpiece, and then they have a lot of great guards. I've been watching film on them. They're great guards that can really shoot the ball, that penetrate and dish to Obi, and they're very good. They're a very good team. We're not taking them lightly. It's gonna be a hard game, and we're just gonna go out there and execute the game plan.
Is it fun to prove people wrong? Because when everyone sees like the big bracket, which we got sitting over there, everyone's saying, well, of course Michigan State will be in the next round of the winners
bracket. It'll be Michigan State, Kansas.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
What
That's
everyone
what
said coming into
So
the
is it
tournament.
nice to just kind of debunk the fact that everyone had predetermined that would be the case?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We
That's the right attitude. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, we don't really get, me personally, I don't really get into all that. I can't control what anybody says about me. I can't do anything about it. So I just can't control the uncontrollables and just move on from it. And then, we won, and we gotta move on now. Like I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I was hoping that you were going to come on here and just like start talking trash to Michigan State fans who look very dejected at the hotel. We were at the Sheraton
we were
together.
staying at the same hotel as
They are
Michigan
not
State.
allowed to go near the water, apparently. They will have no fun the rest of this trip, so you can thank Virginia Tech for that, which is great.
Yeah. How does that make you feel? You ruined Michigan State's
He's just
entire
smiling.
vacation. Tom Izzo in his press conference was apologizing to all the Michigan State fans that came out. He was like on the verge of tears. He told his players there will be no fun on this trip. You are responsible for that. Do you hate fun? Do you hate all what do you have against
Do
these
the
guys?
same thing to our players too, like not have fun, but a couple of them, just come out of high school and they trying to have. I've never been to Maui. Like I've never been to Maui too, but I know there's clearly this business to take care of.
Yeah.
So, for like Michigan State, like I didn't want to go out too much. I knew I was going to be guarding, as the media says, the best point guard in the country.
Right.
And the show is on the road. The show is all around him. The ball's going to be in his hands 98% of the time. So I knew for a fact I wasn't going to be walking because I was going to be guarding him the whole game. And so I'm just happy we decided not to walk as much.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody at the hotel now is relaxing in their bed or sleeping.
There you go. Well, we will let you get back to bed, get some rest for tomorrow.
Or just 30 more minutes of fun. Just go back and have that 30 more
whatever
minutes.
you
You
gotta
deserve
do,
30
man.
more minutes.
No.
But yeah, there's
Head
a
on
big
the
game
swivel.
tomorrow
We love
against Dayton. Congratulations, Wabissa Bede, point guard for Virginia Tech. Big win over Michigan State. Congrats, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you
for
guys.
joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you to Wabissa Bede for joining us. He is out past his curfew. He had a million better things he could have been doing.
So
here
many
now.
better things.
So many better things.
He refuses to acknowledge the better things, but that's nice.
I think someone lied to him. I think someone told him to come talk to two guys that are working the Maui Invitational. He's like, oh my God, I'm going to do a sit down with Jay Billis and Bill Walton. And we were like, gotcha.
He did not know who we were, but that was very sweet and kind of him to come and, improve the fact that Virginia Tech, they're moving on. So we're excited to see them in the
I am
winners
very
bracket.
excited for this game. I don't know if this is a game that's going to get America's attention, but it should. Dayton versus Virginia Tech. If you're rolling your eyes and you're saying, I was promised the Spartans in the second round, well, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Get over yourself. It's
Well,
not
now you
about
get Tom Crean, Tom Izzo, and the losers
Yeah,
bracket.
and the losers bracket,
It's like
which
it's 1995 all over again.
That's really
Where
what
the
we
hell
want.
is Steve Nash?
That's what we've always wanted.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
let's talk about the two other games, the nightcap games. We had Kansas versus Chaminade. Chaminade,
Pouring
the
out.
hosts of this event, very gracious hosts, very selfless hosts
Yeah.
by letting Kansas beat them. That is a gracious thing to do as hosts. That's that's a great move. Well, we should say Chaminade lost by 30. The spread, I believe, was 37. They
Yes.
did cover the spread.
Yes.
Huge win for Chaminade in
Yes.
that regard. So
Well,
congratulations to the Silver
And
Swords.
it proves what we always talked about with Chaminade, which is that they always win in some way. It's not necessarily, as simple as the box score. But
How about this, Tate?
Yes.
They're going to win in the game of life.
Boom.
That's the game that matters most.
Boom. The Silver
Chaminade, we said
Who would
going
have
into
thought
this
that we
game-
spent this much time on Chaminade in the Kansas 30-point blowout? That would be great.
we said going into this
This is
game,
a Chaminade show.
it would have been cool to be in the arena for the upset, the 1982
Yes.
upset over Virginia. I'm sorry, that Mike Wilbon. He was famously there. He talks about it all the time. We're like, I want to be Mike Wilbon. I want to talk about how I was there. I am going to talk about how I was there. Chaminade covered the spread against Kansas. Monumental upset. No one saw it coming. Very, very cool to be here.
And at least we did get Virginia Tech, right? We got one upset for real that we could act like we
did.
were in the building for that. So that works out. And speaking of Kansas, Bill Self, with the whole Tom Izzo exit, this is Bill Self's day. We all
Bill
know.
Self's smirk
We
just
all knew
turned
it
up a
was.
little
And
bit
here we
more.
are.
He's like,
we know it's Bill Self. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. So congratulations, Coach
that's
Self.
interesting, yeah.
And he killed it last night at the coaches' dinner. We're gonna keep all those comments private, but congratulations, Coach Self. We're pulling for you. Let's get to the last game. This game is way more interesting than the Chaminade Kansas
It is.
game. No offense to Chaminade. BYU UCLA. Mark Pope is basically stealing the show here. Everyone loves Mark Pope.
Mark Pope is my favorite coach here. I'm not ashamed to admit that.
He's the first Pope that the BYU fans have adored, and that's great.
I knew nothing about this guy other than he played at Kentucky.
Yes.
And when he was hired at BYU,
Played with
I'll
the
be honest,
Pacers back in the day?
Yeah, it didn't really capture my attention. And I want to apologize to BYU fans and to Mark Pope himself because this
And
man
to the
is
Halls
amazing.
family, right?
This man has been dominating every press conference. Every time he's getting in front of a microphone, he's a ton of fun. We have fallen in love with him. We've also fallen in love with Jake Toolson. My God, what a game this kid had.
This kid's got tools, yeah, I mean, to say the least. Yeah, he's got some tools. We were joking basically as we were sitting there watching this team play because BYU, there was so much affection with the team. Like, anytime that anything happened with anyone, everyone's just so excited, going crazy. And then you look at the other side, UCLA, a little bit different, you know what I mean? They're figuring it out, as Mick Cronin said. He said, we have to suffer through this, and he was like, I want to harp on that word, suffer.
Oh, we will suffer.
We will suffer.
There will be suffering.
So for the good of BYU, there was some struggling with UCLA, but it was a good game. I mean, it was a close game.
It was a great game, and then BYU just turned it on at the end, and they kind of show. I mean, as we kind of spoke to with the Georgia-Dayton situation, where it was obvious which team was young and which team was experienced. Yeah. That was the case of BYU-UCLA. As it became nut-cutting time, BYU was like, we've been here before. In fact, BYU's played in so many close games this year already. Boise State game, they
I don't think you can say nut cutting in BYU.
I think you're allowed to. The Boise State game, they let slip away. That was a close one. San Diego State this year, they lost. They let that one slip away. They beat Houston at Houston, though, on the last second shot. They've been there before already this season. They kind of turned it on the last 10 minutes. Toolson and TJ Halls were incredible, and BYU marches on.
And we have to point out, Prince Ali went down. It's like it was a one-point game. Prince Ali goes down. Looks like it could be a very serious injury. We were both very concerned.
We were.
The crowd was concerned. The head coach not so much, he didn't seem like he was too worried about it. Turns out Prince Ali, thank goodness, totally good. Came back in the game, played well for the most part. But the UCLA landscape, there just seems to be. Like they're
figuring it out.
Yeah, they're figuring it out. Yeah,
that's
all we can
process.
say.
That's what he said. That's what Mick Cronin said. It's a process.
Yes,
this
that we
is
will
a long
suffer
process.
through. Yes, we will suffer. So basically, it's like looking at this last game. Obviously, BYU, a lot of hope. UCLA, the losers bracket is almost more interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, we guess we can't say that. You know what I mean? Yeah, but like there's some storylines there. And with UCLA and Mick Cronin, I kind of want to see. He said he's looking for 5 guys. And we got to figure out who those 5 guys are. Sharif O'Neal, not one of those 5 guys so far. Played 2 minutes tonight. Almost got a trillion.
Yeah,
but had one foul. He had one foul, though, so I think that counts.
Yeah, so it's not exactly the Final Four of the Maui Invitational I think people expected coming in, but it is the 4 best teams here, I believe. Like Michigan State, as they are a great team. I think a lot of people are expecting a lot of great things from Michigan State this season. But Virginia Tech, this was not a fluke. Virginia Tech beat them. They played better than them. They belong in the Final Four. Of this tournament, and we're excited to see what happens tomorrow.
And Mike Young, we always talk about Sean Miller, and he's the king of sweating, right? We love that Sean Miller loves to sweat. Mike Young is now the king of sweating. I mean, this guy, he probably lost 12 pounds a day. Just pure water. Guy stays hydrated. Congratulations, Coach Young, on the win. Is there anything else before we get to tomorrow?
I just want to say that this has been a great day of action. We are excited for tomorrow.
It's heating up in here. I'm hot. Now I understand. It's like Cameron Indoor. I mean, what is going on?
That's it from us from day one here at the Maui Invitational. We will be here tomorrow. We will be here Wednesday. We're going to break down every single day, so stay tuned right here. We will be on Twitter. We will be on YouTube. Everywhere else, wherever the internet will allow video to be posted, our videos will be posted. That's our promise to you. I'm Mark Titus. He's Tate Frazier. We are taking Maui. Thank you for joining us. See you guys tomorrow.